Hey guys, Rocco, sourdough chef. But I wasn't always a sourdough person. You know, in the last 10 years, 5 years or so, things have happened to Mrs. Rocco. Hello, Mrs. Rocco.
Hello.
Anna Paula, and myself, that have made us understand the value of sourdough in our lives every day. And I'm pre-diabetic, so I'm the guy that does a blood test 3, 6, 20 times a day, depending on how I feel, just to make sure that my sugar levels are right. And for diabetics, sourdough seems to be, and please look it up, the best option. And I understand why that is. It's the fermentation in the dough that really helps, and the lactic acid that's developed during that process that really helps it be absorbed in the right way, that doesn't spike the sugars the way white bread would. And that's an important thing for me. For Anna Paula, behind the camera tonight, over the years she's developed gluten and fructan and that famous low FODMAP problem, and the gluten intolerance, bloating and all of that stuff. So for us it's a way of life, and it has to be. The fact that it's delicious, yummy, keeps for a whole week, and it's just the best thing since sliced bread. Sorry. It's just the way it is, but we want to share it with you. So I'm going to do two things. One is I'm going to keep giving sourdough away to anyone that asks, and teaching you how to do it. And we're just running a sourdough course at the moment every Tuesday night. The other thing we're going to do is I'm going to do a test where I eat nothing but sourdough and olive oil, extra virgin, for, I haven't decided yet, 3 days, 7 days, 24 hours. We'll see, and I'll be checking my my blood glucose levels just to hopefully prove the benefit of the sourdough to the sugar spikes. I just know it's a good thing. It's something that I have to watch, and I really hope the results are as good as I've seen in the past, but that they're that good over an extended period. Without further ado, let me bake some of that bread that I'm going to use in my 3-day I'm only eating sourdough test. So 2 tins. One's got holes in it because I want to get a little crunchier focaccia style, which is this one here. Just a little bit of olive oil in your hand, spread it out. You don't need anything else. You don't need flour. Don't need olive oil. Butter. You just a little bit of your olive oil that you've got at home, which I highly recommend. If you don't believe it's the best fat on earth, then again, do a little bit of study, a little bit of research, test it out yourself. It's the only thing that we'll eat in our household. It's the only thing that we have at Rocco Pizza. This sourdough is, let's grab the scales and let's see. It should be just over 1.1, yeah, 1.156. This is a pack of sourdough that we'll have on hand most nights if you just come in and ask for it, or you can order it online. It's ready to go, and I'm just showing you how simple it is. Again, this is not a commercial for me to sell sourdough. This is a commercial for me to sell health, or give health away. So take it out of its bag. So treat it like a baby. Gentle. We really don't want to knock all of that beautiful, all those air bubbles that have been forming, in this case, for a long time. You can see I'm actually folding it. I'm folding it. I'm folding it. Okay. Just giving a little bit of layers that way. And I'm just placing it in the middle of this tin. We only do 2 more things. Yeah. This seems to be like a nicer side up. Okay. Smooth. So I want to get a little bit of a crunch on the bottom, so I just snip it with my scissors. Yeah? Okay. It's that simple. And then I turn it back. You see it's so delicate. Okay? You just don't want to knock any of the air out, because that's part of the fermentation. That's what's happened with the fermentation, that it's risen. And it's got little bubble pockets in there. And they're really important, because when they are in the oven, they expand with the heat and they grow. And that's what gives you an airy loaf. This loaf is going to be a little bit denser. because this is an ultra fermented dough. It's probably a week old, but that's a great thing. It's a great thing for anyone that has digestion problems, because the lactobacilli and the natural wild yeasts, they've eaten those things that we can't digest. And those things in wheat and in some other grains, they happen to be the protein part, and that's the gluten, or the starches, the sugars, the natural sugars, the fructans, and lots of other names. So those things, over time, with the sourdough, because they're little natural probiotic creatures, they eat them. And that's good because our system can't digest them and bloats, as I've said. So they've eaten them away. When I eat this, it's going to have a good effect on my body, on my sugar level. Yes, I do love scissors. As many as you want of these, you'll see. You get a lovely pattern, helps the bread cook. And who started this anyway? What's the story with cutting up your bread or putting a cross on it? Well, you know, sometimes that had a religious meaning. But in the old days in the villages where there was one common oven, and by the way, there was normally one common sourdough mother, the mother yeast, the culture that we used in place of commercial yeast, that was all shared. And so I'd make my bread, you'd make your bread, and then we'd all go down to the oven, the baker's oven, and we bake our bread in that oven, probably pay for it somehow, leave some bread behind or some coins. But I had to recognize my bread. So I had my own little cross, or you might have 3 stripes or whatever. And that's how the cutting of the bread on top began. What are we going to do with this one? So this I was going to make a focaccia. So this is one of those pans with holes in it, and that's okay, because that's going to guarantee that I get a nice crispy focaccia base. And it's just this simple. Put a little bit of oil, okay, and just push it out like playing the piano, yeah? Do we want a thick one? Okay, I won't squeeze it out too much because I want to leave some of the air. Traditionally, you would actually press it out a bit flatter and then give it time to come back up. I want to bake it all at one time. I know it's going to work anyway, so I haven't deflated it as much as I would like to. And then I'm just going to spray it. Can I put some olive oil on this one? Let's put a bit more, if I have it, and spray it. Why am I spraying? Do you remember in Nepal?
No, I don't actually.
Okay, when this hits the oven's nice and hot. I've got it at, see that red? This is an ancient oven, since we're making ancient bread. So it tells me that it's pretty much at the top of its range because it goes off straight away when I dial it back. So that's saying it's about 250. And the gauge inside is definitely confirming it. So we're going to put this one top shelf. We want a little bit more heat. Nice big thick sourdough. Bye-bye. And then this one here, which we can see from the bottom. This will be interesting, this will be lovely. When we cut this, once it's cooked, we'll get nice little slices which we can toast again. It's going to be really crunchy and delicious. So, should I put some rolled oats on this? Do we like that? Because you can put anything you want. When you're making a focaccia style, I put this just for decoration, but also we like the flavour. Having said that, I know people that just put some olives in it and just push it all in, or they put sun-dried tomatoes, anything you want, and just bake it. Now, that's all we need to do. It's a fan-forced oven. It's running at 250 degrees. It's really hot. I'll probably drop that a little bit later when we come back. You'll see that it'll be in for about, there's 2 loaves in there, so we'll need at least a half an hour. Probably after 20 minutes we'll check on it, turn it, and then bring it out at about 40 minutes, in 40 minutes time. Yeah? We'll also then have a look at how we make it even more crunchy if we like it. See you soon. Can you hear it? Bread's ready. Don't worry about the table in my house. Battle ready. Ta-da! Look nice?
Wow.
Switch off the oven. Never waste a good bunch of heat. Got some beautiful red peppers, capsicums ready to go in. I've switched it off. And all I'm going to do, oven's off, they're going to sit there. Turn that off. And we're good. Let's have a look at this bread, huh? This is a focaccia style. See the pattern there? I'm happy with that. Okay. I'm gonna simply use the same rack as a cooling rack. And this one here, which didn't have the perforated underneath. We're going to, I might have to wait for it to, no, there it is. Beautiful, nicely baked. Okay, just gonna leave it like that, let it cool. I'll put it on a rack now. But what you can do at home, once it's cooled, obviously 30 minutes, an hour, you gotta be patient. If you want to cut the bread, you have to wait. Because if I now put force, even with a bread knife, I'm gonna cut that bread, it's just gonna all go mushy. It's just gonna squish it up. And whatever little air holes I've got still, valve line I've created in the bake, that's just gonna crush up and just be a mushy, doughy mess right now. Because it's got to set the crumb, which is the part inside, different to the crust. The crumb is the part inside. We need it to be fluffy. We don't want it to be all squished. So please don't cut it now. You can eat it straight away, but you have to break it. And then you can put olive oil, that's what I like. Some people like butter. Once it's cooled, okay, but doesn't have to be cold, then I like to get freezer bags, or whatever the breaks are, we buy here, and I put it in. It's just a little bit too warm now, but by putting it in that bag, it'll trap all the moisture in there and make it a softer crust, and it'll keep. You don't have to do that, it's just an idea that I have, and I keep my bread out of the fridge. It stays, well, you know, it doesn't last that long, but it lasts up to a week. Slice it, toast it, amazing. Thanks for watching. Love your sourdough. Let's see what I do over the next few days as I eat these, and let's see how good it makes me feel. Have a great night. Ciao from Rocco. Bye.